This reckless teen asserting that he was under duress when the event took place, so the judge conducted an in-depth questioning to understand the circumstances.
They're saying that the vehicle was stolen. Were you aware of that?
No, ma'am.
Let's say you're not aware the vehicle is stolen. So they get behind you, they have their sirens on, they're trying to pull you over. Why didn't you pull over?
Because when I was trying to pull over, the passenger, which is I thought that was my friend, had threatened me with a
Oh, so you're saying you were under duress. So here's my other question then. So you're 17, you're in the vehicle with a 12-year-old juvenile in the back seat. Why were you with a 12-year-old who wasn't in school?
I'm not too sure, but she's told me that she didn't have nothing to do with school.
A 12-year-old has nothing to do, isn't that
Yeah,
sixth
I
grade?
guess she dropped down. Not too sure.
All right.
But
So
she-
why are you hanging out with a 12-year-old and you were 17 at this time? And I'm just saying, usually 17-year-olds don't want to hang out with 12-year-olds. So you have the 12-year-old who's the backseat passenger. Who else was in the vehicle with you?
12-year-old, and my friend.
So your mom has a 12-year-old who should be in school and she's out joyriding with 12-year-old. The court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison. All right, court is calling. All right, everyone, don't whisper behind the court reporter. Court is calling 2024 CR 3037 and 2024 CR 3038. State of Texas versus Jose Amador. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Orlando Castanon for defense.
And are you Jose Amador?
This one.
All right, we're here for sentencing. And 2024 CR 3037, you entered a plea of no contest to count 1 and count 2. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court deferred finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, this plea bargain agreement is off. Let me see. All right, we can go off the record. All right, so you all only went.
There was an issue in regards to one of the counts that they waived and abandoned, and that it was not a.
So I believe we only went on, initially we were going on council 1 through 4, and
Mhm.
then after the court review, we waived 3 and 4, so usually we're only.
Yes. So on the plea bargain paperwork, if you all could initial, because it's still on there that you are proceeding on counts 1 and 4.
Judge, you're in the record really quick. May 6th, the trial date.
I'm sorry, when?
May 6th.
That's Amador? All right.
No, Beltron.
Beltran.
That's Arlene Gay's client.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And she can be excused, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Thank you. We're back on the record. So in cause number 2024 CR 3032, according to the plea bargain agreement, you entered a plea of no contest to counts 1 and count 2. The punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 4 years in the prison. The state is silent on your application for deferred adjudication, and there's a $2,000 fine. And there are cases that are running concurrently and some that are being taken in consideration. And then and cause number 2024 CR 3038, you entered a plea of no contest. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court deferred finding of guilt. And that case is an evading. The other case is an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And in the evading case, your plea bargain agreement was for a cap of 4 years. There's a $2,000 fine, no application for community supervision. The state is silent on your application for deferred adjudication. This case is running concurrent with your other case. And also there are cases to be taken in consideration. All right. And in each case, defense, you waived the right for a PSI or TAP evaluation?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And the court requested that there be a criminal history provided for the court if there is a criminal history.
Judge, this is, he does not.
All right.
He has no criminal history, Judge.
All right. So state is silent. Defense, is there anything you wish to say? And of course, the most concerning thing is the aggravated assault with a
Yes,
deadly weapon.
Judge. So in this,
Just one second. Excuse me. Can't talk behind the court reporter. We're on the record. If y'all wish to communicate, ask the deputy and the deputy will move you when they have room. All right, defense.
The judge, at the time, my client was 17 when he was arrested. This is a situation where he was with his mother. Vehicles brought to his home. They were on the way to go get some parts. In the process of driving, police were attempting to pull the vehicle over because they believed it was a stolen vehicle. He was not aware of that. There was two other individuals in that car with him. My client attempted to pull over. In the process of doing that, one of the passengers pulled out a gun and he freaked out. And so he then continued to travel on the highway, pulled up into a green belt. He was not driving at a very fast rate of speed. He went through a parking lot. He went through then a intersection very slowly, about 10 miles an hour. And as he did that, he clipped one vehicle with some civilians, and there was a unmarked police officer vehicle that hit him from the front to stop the vehicle. And so in that moment, he freaked out. He's very young. He's 17 years old. And he really didn't know what to do. He was kind of scared that something was going to happen, either that the police were going to shoot at them or that, this individual who he's not related to and was briefly acquainted with was in the vehicle with a gun and may do something. And so he panicked and he at that moment left and had continued driving. And so, because of his lack of criminal history, his age, that he should be given a chance to receive deferred adjudication and show the court that he's able to comply with those conditions and really to try and keep his record from having any felony convictions.
Oh,
Judge,
yes.
I know I'm silent, but I have reserved the right to speak to any inconsistencies in the
Yes.
past if I need. Just briefly, counsel had stated that, wasn't a long encounter and that he was driving slowly. And the evidence that was stipulated to, the officer alleges that he was driving up to 100 miles per hour at one point. And it was a long process, like miles that was going on. And so I just wanted to clarify that for the record.
All right. So in the stipulations on page 7, it's of 7, Mr. Amador, it says, Jose Amador was traveling at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour, weaving in and out of traffic, using the stolen Hyundai as a deadly weapon, crashing into a vehicle and 2 police vehicles. Jose Amador had a 12-year-old juvenile in the rear of the stolen vehicle, endangering her. And they said you used the stolen vehicle as a deadly weapon, trying to flee from the police, endangering, the people who were in the vehicle with you. And then that you did hit another vehicle and a patrol vehicle. So I don't understand. Why are you doing this? Do you wish to explain yourself?
Yes.
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Salvador.
All right, so we're going to take this one step at a time because that's better for me so I can understand what's going on. So, first thing, they're saying that the vehicle was stolen. Were you aware of that?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to take, let's say you're not aware the vehicle is stolen. It appears that the police had their sirens on. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so they get behind you, they have their sirens on. Did you think they were trying to pull you over?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so they're trying to pull you over. Why didn't you pull over?
Because when I was trying to pull over, the passenger, which is my friend, I thought that was my friend, had threatened me with a gun, so that afraid of me, my life, and to me being afraid.
Oh, so you're saying you were under duress. I think that's a defense if you're under duress. Am I wrong?
That's what we pled also no, understand that there's the risk that the jury may not buy into that defense.
Okay. So here's my other question then. Let's go back early in the day. You're in the vehicle. It's stolen. Did you pay for that vehicle?
No.
Did your mom pay for that vehicle?
No, ma'am.
So nobody paid for that vehicle. Did that vehicle belong to any of the passengers?
No, ma'am.
All right, so, yes.
I think an important question would be to ask him how that vehicle came to.
Oh, I mean, you can ask that question,
Yeah.
Council.
So, Mr. Amador.
Well, just one second. Let me finish and then you can. So you never paid for that vehicle. And how old were you when this happened?
17.
Right, so you're 17. You're in the vehicle with a 12-year-old juvenile in the back seat. What day of the week was this? Was it a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
For sure.
All right, any objection to the court Googling what date this was?
No, Judge.
All right, so it was a Friday, according to Google. All right, and according to Google, that date, the only holiday that date was the Feast of the Immaculate Conception and the National Chocolate Brownie Day and National Christmas Tree Day and National Lard Day. So I'm assuming that those are not holidays that are recognized federally or locally where the school is closed. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So then why were you with a 12-year-old who wasn't in school?
I'm not too sure, but she's told me that she didn't have nothing to do with school.
A 12-year-old has nothing to do, isn't that
Yeah,
sixth
I
grade?
guess she dropped out. Not too sure.
All right,
But
so
she
why,
wasn't going to school though.
well, why are you hanging out with a 12-year-old and you were 17 at this time?
Um,
And I'm just saying, usually 17-year-olds don't want to hang out with 12-year-olds. And then the other people were in the car. They say that they were juveniles also. How old were they?
I believe the juveniles were in the civilian vehicle that had been clipped.
That was it? Okay.
Yes, Judge. There were other people in the vehicle, other than the 12-year-old, were, in my understanding, adults.
Well, who else was in the car with you? So you have the 12-year-old who's the backseat passenger. Who else was in the vehicle with you? And I don't need the names, just,
12-year-old and my friend.
okay, the 12-year-old was in the car with you, your mom was in the car with you, and your friend. And where was your mom sitting?
Back.
All right. And how old is your mom approximately during that time?
35, 36.
And just for my interest, is the 12-year-old any way related to you, your mom, or anyone else in that vehicle?
No, man.
So your mom has a 12-year-old who should be in school and she's out joyriding with 12-year-old. All right, so while you are traveling 100 miles per hour and the police are behind you, what is your mom saying? And counsel, I know it's hearsay. I'm just trying to figure out what was going on in the car, if there was some kind of chaos.
She was telling me also to pull over.
Okay.
And I was trying to, but the girl had it. She had
Oh,
a
well,
gun,
did you
so
tell your mom, I can't pull over, the front seat passenger has a gun pulled on me?
She was afraid too. My mom, she couldn't do nothing.
No. You said your mom told you to pull over. So did you tell your mom the front seat passenger has a gun? I can't pull over?
No,
Okay. All right, so you're driving 100 miles per hour. You're not pulling over. So when did this end? What caused this all to end? Was it the crash?
yes, ma'am.
All right, so the crash happens, and what happens to the 12-year-old in the back seat and your mom?
They get arrested.
All right, and what happens to the front passenger?
She gets arrested too.
Okay. All right, you have clarifications?
Yes. So did you know the person was 12 years old?
When I first met her, no.
Okay. And how did you end up driving that vehicle? Who brought that vehicle to you?
The 12-year-old.
Okay. And you thought the 12-year-old, the car belonged to her?
Yeah, it belonged to her parents.
And were y'all joyriding that day, or what was the purpose of driving?
I had to go get parts to fix my car.
Okay, and where were you going to get those parts?
To a junkyard.
There's some clarification in regards to how that.
Oh, I have more clarification. So you're telling me a 12-year-old comes to you driving a vehicle and you have no questions about that as a 17-year-old,
Yes, ma'am. I mean,
and your mom had no questions. So how do you end up driving the vehicle? Did the 12-year-old just throw you the keys? I don't understand.
I mean, she didn't have no keys there. Yeah, the car was on already by the time she went to my house. I just hopped on it. I thought she had it like a little remote. I thought it was a push and start. So that caused me like thinking that that was her parents' car.
But why would you drive if she's coming over to your house?
Cause I saw that she was like, I felt like she was young. Cause
All
when I
right, and
met
was
her,
this a planned meetup? Did she call you and say, hey, I'm coming over?
no, I asked her to, if I can borrow one of her parents' car. And she said it was fine, so.
All right, this story is getting a little bit off track, and it's, well,
Judge,
when I
if I
say
may,
off track,
I
it's.
believe that the 12-year-old, she's a juvenile, but I think she also has subsequently been arrested for unauthorized use of motor vehicle.
Okay. All right, any questions from the state based upon the answers that the court has received?
So Mr. Oliver, you stated that you didn't know that that vehicle was stolen, correct?
Correct.
But when you began to drive it that day, I mean, you had to have seen that the door handles were broken off, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so that didn't indicate to you that something was off with that vehicle?
No, I mean, there's some vehicles have broken handles too.
So you think that's just normal?
No,
Okay, and it didn't have keys to operate it, so how was the vehicle started and how were you operating it?
I don't know how she started it.
What was in the ignition when you were operating the motor vehicle?
I'm not too sure.
And so you stated that you were under duress because the juvenile, or that you felt that your life was being threatened because the juvenile had a, is that correct? Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Okay, and so, and the evidence that was stipulated to, which is the police report, Sheriff Deputy with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office states that she observed you crash into a marked SAPD patrol car and continue going. So if you were scared for your life, don't you think that that was a good time to, you crashed to maybe notify police that you were scared and that the juvenile had right? And so after that, you continued on to crash into the motor vehicle that had the juveniles in it, correct? And then in this police report, it states that after you had already crashed into those two cars, officer heard you accelerate on the gas to get through the SAPD marked patrol unit and the towards the border, and that you proceeded straight for the Barry County Sheriff's Office marked patrol unit, which had the lights flashing, and proceeded to crash into it so hard that the officer's body worn camera fell off. And then you still didn't stop, correct?
Correct.
And you don't think that would have been a good time to maybe notify police that your juvenile had a and that you were scared?
Yes.
It would have, right? And then after you get in a crash and you stop, you still don't comply with the police, correct?
Correct.
You take off evading, right?
Yes.
And ultimately, you don't even stop. You have to deploy the
Yep.
taser on
Judge,
you,
at this
correct?
point, I'm going to have to object that I don't believe the state's remaining silent. This goes outside of the scope of, I believe, what our question was.
All right, with regards to the question about you said tasing or something?
Yes, right.
All right, so that objection will be sustained. I think it's going beyond the facts or beyond the scope of my questioning and the defense's questioning and whether or not he is being dishonest.
I understand, but it was just going to, their assertion about the juvenile, but I understand. Thank you.
All right, counsel, anything else?
No, Judge.
Anything else you wish to say? All right. In each of the cause number, the court is going to deny your application. Defense, you want to speak towards the cap?
Judge, just that he's a young individual, he's never been in trouble before. This is obviously entering a conviction on his record is going to do a great deal of damage just towards his life. And we ask that you consider the minimum in this case.
All right, and cause number 2024 CR 3037. Court will find you guilty in count 1 and count 2. Count 1 and count 2 will run concurrently. The court will sentence you to 3 years in each count. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money to run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 3038. And state will take in consideration 2024 CR 2939 and 2024 CR 3039. Is there any objection to me changing what is running concurrently? Because there's still count 3 and count 4 listed. All right,
No objection to that.
thank you. I just don't want there to be a mistake. All right, and that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm so sorry, in that cause number, there's also an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. And cause number 2024 CR 3038. The court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 3037. Taking consideration 2024 CR 2939 and 2024 CR 3039. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you have something for me? And we can go off the record. Here's the thing, I understand that there are some issues going on in your life because your mother should never have been in that vehicle with you. Your mother knew that that was a 12-year-old who should have been in school. So I understand that you have a hard life. But this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to find in yourself what is right, what is wrong, because it appears that your mom is not that person to instruct you. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you get out of prison, do not become one of those people who becomes institutionalized. Do not go to prison and get all these prison tattoos. If something happens and you must get a tattoo, don't get a tattoo on the face. Don't get the teardrops. Don't do any of that. Because when you get out of prison, when people see teardrops and all these other facial tattoos, they know it's prison tattoos, and then they don't want to read the book. They're looking at the cover. So you still can do something with your life. You're young. They have free education at the prison. You can even get a degree at the prison. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. And when you get out, if you need anything, I'm still here. Come back and I'll help you out, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This reckless defendant drove while intoxicated with her child in the vehicle, prompting the judge to put an end to her dangerous behavior.
So what were you thinking?
I clearly wasn't thinking, and I had had a lot of time to think about it, and I do regret what I did. I have remorse for everything. I've known better than that, and I was just going through a really difficult time at the last couple of months before that happened, and it's no excuse, but
Is Child Protection Services involved?
I had a case, but I got it closed.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. When you say you got it closed, obviously you're in custody. There's no way they will return your child to you because you're in custody. So what happened?
Well, when this first happened, I did a case, but I did the classes and I did the test and I was able to get that case closed.
Judge, she obviously was taking them and she's very motivated. She's changed totally. She wants to make this probation and solve her problem.
Well, so why are you in custody?
I had a warrant.
Couldn't make bond.
All right, so the court is going to sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility.